start.
Lori, it might be interesting for you to know that you know that you and I have never met. Cleo and we have never met. To know that you and you so we have this amazing collection
I understand that,
of
yeah.
people, but not not known in person yet. We're
Right.
hoping. We're hoping to.
But it's quite an international contingent. It's pretty cool.
It is.
It's one of the things we love about Zoom, even though it can be challenging. All right, well, let me see. I'll get over here. And, okay. Perfect. All right, I'm going to record, and here we go. All right, and I'm gonna let John in. I'm gonna ask more people to join. I will. All right, hello. Oh, I see, John, your camera may be off, but hello and welcome.
Here he comes. Oh, he's outside.
Oh, that looks nice. Hello.
There
Hello,
you are.
sorry, I was listening to a audio text.
Oh, oh, good. Hello.
Lori, so great to see you. Oh my gosh, I've been so
Too,
excited.
John. Yes, I'm very excited that you're here. I'm
You're
glad.
one of my favorites for sure.
Hi.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, nice to see you.
To see you too.
Thank you.
Unmuted here. How are you?
Hey, Nancy, hi.
Nice to see you. How's your
Nice to
house
see
coming
you.
along? Are you all decorated out?
No, we're not decorated.
I don't believe that. It's a process. It's a process.
That's you. I know
It
that's you.
is.
Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Hi, Catherine.
Hello.
Hi, David.
Hello. There we are.
Hello.
There you are.
Found ourselves.
Hi, Haywood. Hi.
Are you
Hi,
muted? Or? No, I think people can hear us.
Yes.
Yep, we can hear you.
I can't hear them. Well, we can change
You
that.
can't hear us.
She can't hear us.
What?
Hello, hello. There we go. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us here. I'm gonna just drop this into the chat, but oops, just a little welcome to say, yeah, please let us know where you're coming in from. I'm Cleo. I will be moderating and guiding us today, and I'm in Los Angeles.
And I'm Catherine, and I'm in Mallorca.
And I'm Lori, and I'm in Denver, Colorado.
Excellent. And this will be a wonderful session today. This is our third of 3 sessions exploring the theme of togetherness through our TLCs. So we have the joy of having Lori Seymour with us today as our special guest to explore this theme.
I first met Lori through John Drennan. Lori did a gathering with Consergo, and John did a podcast for Lori's program, Wisdom Talk Radio, and I did one too. And at that time, Lori was working on her book, Unconditional Remembrance, Your Connection to Source. Lori brings together her background as a psychotherapist, her work as a solutions engineer with Fortune 100 companies, and her decades of research into physics and metaphysics. Lori was initiated as Raya Grand Master in 1997. Turiya touch and Turiya meditation activate and amplify the higher levels of consciousness. Lori's work opens a living field of remembrance that allows people to discover their innate connection to Source and embody it with coherence, clarity, and grace.
I also just want to jump off there and say that I'm going to give you a sense of our upcoming month preview so you know what's going on before we dive into the conversation. So let me add a little, there we go. Hello, now you can see me big. So just to let you
Beg your
know,
pardon.
yeah, just to let you know what's happening here. Basically, we're going to allow Lori the chance to provide like a unified experience from beginning to middle to end. So before we move to that program with Lori, I just want to highlight a bit of what's coming up on the website in the next month. So today we have Lori Seymour's podcast with Catherine about unconditional remembrance, your connection to Source, which I just dropped the link for in the chat. That is the book we'll be speaking about. And we revealed it in February, but we're spotlighting it today. It's an enlightening and powerful conversation that we recommend you visit or revisit. On July 5th, we will reveal a new podcast that Catherine had with physician and new Living Whole online facilitator, Dr. Anna Negron, called Living Whole with Gratitude to the Grand Prix of Epidemiology, the China Study. Whether or not you've read the China Study, you'll want to hear Anna's 45-minute synopsis of this important book. And then continuing our focus on filmmaking that we featured recently with John Corey last TLC, David Reed's TL series on the Halifax explosion that occurred in Nova Scotia during World War I will give you a deep dive into a historic event that you may never have learned about. How Boston and Halifax got connected around that tragedy explains the enormous Christmas tree that Halifax sends to Boston every year. And also Bill Shantz's album, which teaches children, young and older, about how to manage money, is being kicked off with his song, Get Where You Want to Be. Bill's album is filled with songs that he wrote because of money lessons he learned over the years, sometimes the hard way. So over the next months, we'll be revealing more songs from that album in our Behind the Music series, which is ongoing. And during our next Sunday TLC on July 26th, we will start a new 3-part seasonal theme on grace. And Catherine, David, and Sheila Magalhaes will guide us through the first 2 sessions in both July and August. To jump us off for that, I will say, when you think about grace, think of elegance, think movement, think kindness, think gratitude. These summer sessions will invite you to participate in conversations about your own experience with grace and also grace under fire. We view grace under fire as a theme that is particularly well timed given the challenges in the US and globally.
I'm traumatized again.
Yeah, the question is, how do we strengthen ourselves through kindness and gratitude? And to focus these conversations, I'm going to give us another link here. To focus these conversations, we will bring in Catherine's Odyssey Family Systems Paradigm. So if you've not yet read her book, you can get it on Amazon. And then, of course, you can ask Catherine about it in the sessions. So I'm dropping that here as well for everyone to have. Okay. Coming at you. Okay, there we go. And related to that, on July 26th, we'll feature a film about how children teach the adults around them, especially parents. Catherine shares how, in her and David's family, the children inspired them to make some Living Whole changes that have influenced what they offer to all of us in Living Whole. And there will be many more surprises coming. So look out for all of that. And as for today, this is meant to be an open conversation, so please write into the chat or raise your hand, and we'll pause throughout and take moments to hear everyone's feedback and insights and wisdom. These monthly Sunday TLC gatherings are intended to be a space where we build the Living Whole online community and all come together. So with that in mind, I will pass the torch to Lori. Thank you so much for being here. We are very eager to share the next hour with you. And here we go.
Thank you so much, Cleo, and thank you, Catherine, for your introduction as well, and thank you for inviting me to be here. It's starting with John, really, and then continuing in my conversations with you, Catherine, I have been so moved by what it is that you all are creating, and in, and being able to come together today, I feel like this is an opportunity to, and my, I could say intention, hope, whatever, to bring together a sense of attunement, conversation, and open reflection, so that we get to experience what I can speak of as a living field of remembrance. And I do want to echo what Cleo just said, of that everyone's voice is really welcome. This is not a me sitting up here to tell you something, and I have a lot to say. And yet I feel like what this time really can be is a coming together, because that is the theme. And I got moved and towards the end of last year to start what I started calling living room salons, or salons of life. And there really are a way of coming together in energy. And what do I mean by remembering or remembrance? Recently, I have been I think about remembrance, and I think about remembrance, we usually think backwards. What do I remember from before? What do I remember from my past? But this really is about remembering forward. What are we remembering into? Because who you are now and who you will be tomorrow is really all about connecting with the field of potential. And we live in this universal field of potential. Everything is included in that. Everything is possible. And how we recognize that we're continually tapping into that, and allow that to come into our body, allow that to come into not just there in the field, but that our cells are impacted. And so this time together, to me, is a time of, in a way, of shared remembrance. And it is that because this is all about connecting to source, connecting to that essence that lives within us, because we are part of the whole. We contain the whole holographically. And that every one of the 70 trillion cells is constantly being made new, so that we have that opportunity to bring what is our potential individually, but collectively into being. So I want to start this experience today just by bringing our energies together. And how I do that is that Catherine mentioned Turea Touch and Turea Meditation. And Turea Meditation, both of them work with higher consciousness energy symbols. Turea Meditation is a way of connecting with that sense of remembrance. It's a way of connecting and tapping into and building bridges into your own potential. And remembering that that potential is alive and well within you and within the field. So let's just take a few minutes right now just to come together. And the way I'm going to suggest that we do that is just to sit comfortably wherever you are. I invite you to put your feet flat on the floor, just because that's how we can connect most easily with both the energies of the ground beneath us, but also the feeling that circulation. So allow your eyes to gently close if you're comfortable doing that. And this is just going to be 3 to 5 minutes is all. So knowing that beforehand, it's not a long, deep meditation, and it's a quiet meditation, meaning I'm not going to guide you into something. I am going to just refer you first to your breath, to notice your breath, to allow your breath to come in, to as you breathe in, seeing that breath, your breath, as light. Seeing it as light, and that as you breathe in, that it fills your whole chest cavity. Top to bottom, front to back, side to side. And that as you breathe out, that breath flows through you and that light flows through you. And just take a few breaths, gentle breaths. And I'm going to be quiet for a few moments so that I can set the energies in this group, in this Zoom room, and allow you to just to have an experience of whatever it is that you notice right now. There's nothing you need to do except just to breathe, which you're already doing. Okay. Take another breath in. Feel your feet on the ground. Maybe give a little gentle push to your feet. Feel like stretching a little. I'd love to hear just a word or two or three of what you noticed, what you experienced, what what you're aware of. I'm going to change my view to gallery so that I could see you all. So how was that for you? Just to take a few minutes just to feel to feel yourself. And if you don't feel like sharing out loud, just drop a word into the chat.
Lighter.
Lighter. Thank you.
For me, quiet and peaceful.
Mm.
Calm.
Yeah.
Relaxed and peaceful in the chat as well.
Mm. It's a wonderful place to start, isn't it? And to be able to tap into at a moment's notice. So that was really very, very short. So what do I mean by remembrance? In my life, I thought that everybody else had the rule book. I thought that I was the one that kind of missed out on knowing what it was that I was supposed to be doing. And so I felt like all I could do was look outside, even though I also felt like there's something more, there's something more. But because I thought it was something missing in me, I looked outside. I didn't know, because I didn't have it demonstrated to me, I didn't know that I could look more and more deeply into myself. So if you think about it, well, I don't know if anybody else has had that experience of, hey, yeah, I want the rule book too. Maybe by now you know that there is no rule book, but maybe you spend a lot of time thinking about where is that? And with that comes so much self-doubt, like doubt that, for me, it was doubt that I was okay, doubt that I had a right to be here. And that sets up a whole feeling of contrast. Like, what's possible then when you feel like you're not supposed to be here? Or is it okay that you're here? And again, I wonder if other people have had that kind of experience. But if you think about remembrance, what I mean by remembrance is that you are really a child of the universe. You're not just a child of humanity. You're a child of the universe. You are here to be a creator. And you're also here because you know that there is something more. It's more than just whatever you read in the textbook, whatever you read whatever you were taught. So many of us weren't taught about the more. We weren't taught about potential and possibility. And so if we're really living in remembrance, if we're really knowing that source is there and available, the love is available in any moment to tap into, to settle into, then we get to experience life in a different way. So I wonder right now whether you've had the sensing of more. And I want to open that up because the experience of being able to come together happens also when we share, what is it that has meaning for you? What do you feel like you're being called to step into right now? For me, I'm being called to step into actually a lot of time in the quiet, a lot of time in the curiosity, in the inquiry of what's not so much what's next, but really what is here now. And later on, the next will come, but I am so deep in the experience of what is it that's here? And I'm so interested and passionate and curious about that. So I see Nancy's having a hard time maybe getting her screen on. Or her camera, rather.
It was on before.
Okay, let me work on that for a second.
Okay. So what is it that, well, first of all, let me ask you this. Does the rule book, the idea of a rule book, resonate with anybody? The idea that there is a rule book? There's Nancy. Welcome back. Is that something that you have experienced in your life? And just know you're muted, so if you want to speak.
So, Lori, that really resonates with me. Of late, I've had influences that have me thinking or asking, let me restate it, bringing a mindset that don't believe anything, which opens up the ability to believe anything and allow things in that maybe in the past would have been filtered out. So I've
Yeah.
been experiencing that a lot lately.
Oh, how
Like with
wonderful, John.
AI, you can't necessarily believe anything you see or hear. So that's
Mhm.
kind of in alignment with that. So
But John, there's also the idea, yes, that's absolutely true with AI. But I've had to question, and I think you have as well, all the things that we've been taught in life.
totally. Oh, yeah. Everything to me, everything's open for a
Hmm.
challenge in
Yeah.
terms of
And we can think that that's a difficult place to be, but really, wow, think of what that brings you and what that opens the door to.
it's pretty freeing, actually.
Hmm. Hmm. Is there anything in particular that's opening up for you right now, John?
There are a lot of things, but that's a trivial answer. I'm trying to think of one specific. A lot of things just in regard to human potential, our potential
Ah.
to live for hundreds of years,
Hmm.
our potential to regenerate limbs, um, our potential to get in touch with our past lives and ancestors and Akashic records, and I mean all kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And there might be
And to
something
me,
else that pops up that you feel moved to share.
yeah, and to me that's all exciting. Nothing about it is scary
Mhm.
or weird or anything. So
Thank you. Nancy?
Um, I first of all, I totally resonate with your concept about the rule book because I think every young person starts out thinking there's supposed to be a rule book, and it takes. I mean, I think probably some people figure it out earlier than other people that there is no rule book. But anyway, that's a very freeing, realization when you realize that. But getting back to your point about the light coming in and just
Mhm.
feeling that light, I've noticed in the last 6, 8, 9 months, I've just needed a lot more quiet
Yeah.
and a lot more stillness. And, old Nancy would say I was wasting time, and I wasn't accomplishing anything, or I have nothing to show for this. And now I really understand that I'm regenerating in that quiet in a way that I've never experienced before.
I have such a sense, Nancy, that you, like me, are being rewired.
Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And in that, whoa.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes it's very tiring. I get tired and I have no reason why I'm so tired.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you allow
And
yourself to rest then?
oh yes, because I can't go any further. I literally
Hmm.
stop, you
Hmm.
know. And I've always said since I actually retired that I'm not really retired, I'm rewiring. But all of a sudden it feels like it's happening in a different way.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're allowing it in a different way, which means you are the creator who is creating upon creation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I've always been a person who never could push past it. So, you know,
Yeah.
I just can't,
Yeah.
so.
I've
Oh,
always
okay,
been a
so,
person that
yeah,
will push myself, that
yeah,
will take on all sorts of things, and I'll do it,
yeah,
but at real cost.
yes, yes, yes,
So I've had to come a little later to, oh, no, your body is saying, take a rest.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And not to see that as something wrong.
Right, right. Not to see it as something wrong, and that it's really okay. But getting back to that rule book concept, we were supposed to achieve, and it was, grew
Mhm.
up in New England, and it was the whole work thing,
Yeah.
and you just keep on
Mhm.
keeping on, and now it's just not even fun to do that.
We're feeling the same way, Nancy.
Oh,
'Cause we
good.
feel like we've got all these things that we should be, we ought to
Yeah,
be, and we're busy.
yeah,
We have things that we need to do for family and for friends with disabilities. And so I feel like we're spending all of our time doing the shoulds.
yeah,
And we're constantly seeking, we go to a Quaker meeting where we are constantly seeking quiet and
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
and practicing meditation. That was great to have that minute, and
Mhm.
we do that at night together, encourage each
Hmm.
other to do that. But we're still, I think, pretty much stuck in that we ought to be, should be, in all the requirements. The
Yeah,
book.
yeah,
We're in the
yeah.
book.
You're in the book.
Yeah.
The
And when we
book.
can start to step out of the book or just start to put it on the shelf.
Yeah,
We don't
Yeah.
have to throw anything out. That's the thing. We can say, okay, that was good, and we learned that one. But to get
mm,
curious about, wow, what's possible now?
yeah,
What if I give myself space? So Jenny, I'm curious whether is it Jenny? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
Thank
Uh-huh.
you. Okay, and I'm curious what you're sensing, if anything, right now is sort of coming into your field. Like, is there a thread that you feel intrigued to follow?
Hmm. Well, I had always dreamed that when I retired that I would read all the books that I hadn't read in the past. And of course, I don't take much time to read. And I'm trying to have myself do those things, reading and having the quiet times, taking the nap when I'm tired and listening to my body.
Mhm.
So, those are our objectives. We do a lot of things together. So I think Chris and I are kind of on the same wavelength with that. I guess that's a good thing.
Mhm. Mhm. And so maybe it's not even the things that you thought you would do once you retire. So here's an interesting thing. I'm not retired. I could be. Um, it's what is it that actually is showing up? What curiosity? What thing that maybe we could be passionate about, or at least
Mhm,
curious about.
mhm.
And then we don't have to, because reading the books can become a should too.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Mm. Anyone else
when,
feel?
whenever that should word comes up,
Yeah.
I always am quick to replace it with could.
Mm.
Okay.
And that
And
kind of
then
opens up
maybe,
the aperture a bit and just kind of
yes,
gives you a choice.
yeah. And then it's to tune in. Am I drawn to this?
Yes,
Is this
exactly.
showing up for me to do, or
Yeah,
just to reflect on what the contrast with what I really am interested in?
right, right, right.
Mhm.
A brazen way of looking at that, Tony Robbins always talks about we should all over ourselves.
Mhm.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's great.
A good one.
I want to bring into somebody, I don't, Haywood and
Deitch.
Deitch.
Haywood?
Perfect.
Great. So I have a feeling somebody there wants to say, somebody in that little square wants to say something.
Yeah, I've had an interesting experience over the past couple of years that all my life I have been physically very resilient, active constantly, sports and theater and dance and stuff. And I've had a lot of incidences that I also just pulled through. I had breast cancer, I had an ankle replacement, I had a knee replacement, and then a year and a half ago, I had brain surgery. That was the one. It's been the only one that I have not been able to just go, excuse me, F you. I'm going to keep going because my body absolutely would. And I knew it. They told me I did believe them because the first couple months were just so debilitating. But after that, I was like, why am I not able to do what I used to do? And I finally said, because you're not supposed to. You need to just rest and heal and wait and allow. So, which is like, at my age, it's amazing to have that big, oh, okay,
Really?
me?
And Deutsch, it's also who you are is not who you were, which doesn't mean you're less than. It's just to get curious about, okay, who am I now? And what am I opening into now, as opposed to how do I get back to something?
Well, I've actually had a lot of that. I can't even tell you how many jobs I've had because I was in a position when in my 20s that I had to support myself. My family was out of the picture and I didn't have any real skills. I mean, I had skills, but they weren't useful in Los Angeles. And suddenly I didn't know what to do. I could get jobs, but I didn't really have anything that was fulfilling. And over the next 35 years, I had opportunity after opportunity after that just presented itself.
Yes.
I wasn't looking. People would come and say, hey, this person needs this. Would you be interested? And there's a character on Saturday Night Live that Pete Davidson played. I think it was called Chad. And he's this sort of hapless idiot that wanders around and somebody says, why don't you just, stand here with this like stick of dynamite? And he goes, well, okay. And just predictable things happen. And I said, this year I said, I kind of feel like I've been Chad a lot, except that the things that came out of it were at the very least interesting and rewarding. And I've had so many, it's the old thing of improv. You always say yes. No matter what is fed to you, you say yes, because otherwise you stop the flow.
You stop the flow.
Yeah. So
let me suggest something here.
Okay.
Have you been seeing, because it sounds like you are a master at this, but I really mean that. It sounds like you're a master at going with what is presented to you. And have you been able to see the brain surgery as just another one of those, this was presented, and let me see how to be with this, and let me see what comes from this?
I don't think I'd actually ingested it that way, but I only knew that I was very, very lucky because it's almost a miracle that it was found when it was found, that I had surgery before it erupted. And again, my superpower is getting interested. I can't help it. So all through the medical thing, I was like, well, that's cool. What's that machine?
Yeah. Yes,
And of course,
absolutely.
you find out that doctors love it because normally people are very passive about their treatment and, don't engage. And, I'm a wise ass and, I have people in the OR laughing their heads off. But I didn't really think of it but it was a blessing. I didn't really think of it as a learning experience about how to be now. But I'm going to try. But I am better. I finally am at you need to stop and put your feet up for a while. I am much, much better.
Yeah.
Much.
And if you tie that to the need to, I need to put my feet up, to being curious about, what has this been presenting to me?
Oof. Like I said, I haven't gotten there yet, but
Yeah.
you've given me a something to look for.
and you've already got the skill set to do it. So I'm really, no, you do, you
Okay.
do, come on. And I'm really curious myself to hear about that. So I'd love
Okay.
that. Yeah, I'd love to hear about that.
Great.
As Catherine knows, I've been in the midst of a health situation. I don't even know what to call it. That has, been part of what initiated my need to, I need to be more quiet. I need to get quiet because I've needed to rest a lot more. But it's been so much more than that because it is, like I was saying to Nancy, this has been a time of such major rewiring. It's like I'm being quantum leaped into a whole new way of seeing life, a whole new way of relating to myself. And I keep looking for, well, what does this mean for my work? And how is that to be? And it's like, nope, not yet. Nope, not yet. Okay, because that's my old way. My old way is it's a kind of pushing for me to step into, okay, well, how can I talk about this? How am I going to, what am I going to write about? What am I going to teach? How am I going to show up in this program or that program? Take a breath. I don't know. And the I don't know really has opened up so much for me. Not that I know yet, and I don't even know whether there will be a yet, but that there is a, and I love that you're doing grace next time. There is a grace in me, a feeling of grace to allow and to receive. This is such a big time for me of receiving myself, receiving others, receiving connection, receiving the way in which, people are showing up and saying, what's happening and how are you and how can I, what is it? Is there something you need? And it's not so much that, but it's the feeling of connection. And that's been quite a revelation. So anybody else want to share something about that before, because there's another piece to all of this that I want to take us into.
I'll mention that because of living in Spain, I see that there are cultural differences when it comes to especially this concept of pushing.
You can't push in Spain, can you?
Well, there's a lot of resistance to it. There's a sort of the siesta is sacred. Nancy was talking about how, she's listening to her body and taking a rest. Jenny was saying the same. Here you have lunch and everything's closed down anyway, so you might as well have a nap. It's just kind of built into the culture here. And so coming from the United States, and especially coming from the two careers that David and I had, which have to do with pushing yourself very hard,
Yes.
it's been eye-opening. It's been something we've had a lot of chuckles about. And, there's this sort of es la vida, it's life. It's life. So it fits very well into, Lori, what you teach, where you look at what's actually happening and you just kind of are with it. And then you see what to do next.
I am so, thank you, Catherine. That really has meaning for me on a lot of levels. And I, because what I have been teaching for so long, for so many years, has been about connecting with your own inner guidance, listening to your own inner guidance, knowing that indeed you have an inner guidance system. But how much have we been trained to how to listen to that or pay attention? we've been trained out of it. We can ask Google. Now people are asking their bots, what do I need to do about that? And that it's not about whether that's right or wrong or whether the information is accurate. It's about giving agency to something, whether it's a bot or a teacher or a new book, giving agency to something outside of you. But if you start to really pay attention, and I'm hearing, John's really into this way of, well, what if I go inside and ask? So it's not simply accepting what comes, but getting curious about it. Ooh, what's possible here? Ooh, what is this? I think a lot about contrast. What is this contrast, this situation that doesn't feel so good, that is less than optimal? Because we have there's a lot of that. We can look at our own lives, and we can certainly look outside of ourselves and see how much that is showing up everywhere, every day, in every front. But instead of blaming it, instead of blaming ourselves for the situation or blaming someone else, I can think about what that is allowing me to show up for, what it's allowing me to recognize, so that, yeah, if I've had brain surgery, or like me, okay, I had pulmonary emboli. Okay, what is this allowing me to step into? What is this showing me that's possible? Because the possibilities are not limited. Your potential is not limited. Your potential is there in the field. And if you know that the potential that you had an interest, you had an interest in this maybe 30 years ago, or, there's this curiosity that you're thinking about, this project or whatever it is. Realize that that is part of your potential, and you can bring that into your life in a moment. But paying attention is so critical. It's so key. And so I'm really interested in, or want to invite you to, what is opening up for you to step into now, and what is it that you're feeling called to do? What is it you're being called to? Maybe that's a better way to ask the question, because it may not necessarily be a doing, or it may, but what are you feeling called into?
I think the curiosity part of this whole thing, the discussion, is really a key piece.
Mm-hmm.
The jobs that I've had that I really love were ones where I could be curious and go and do things. And I've had a couple of those that lasted a good long time. And then I've had a contrast of a job where it didn't matter whether I was curious. All they wanted to do was to put widget down, if you will. And that was not pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took a change then and decided I wasn't going to do things that I wasn't going to be curious about and halfway enjoy. And what I'm finding, I haven't had the health issues, at least not yet. But I'm finding that I have more time to do things that I wanted to do before, in terms of, particular things, a museum that I worked with. And it was dyslexic in terms of its board, but it's come around. It's got a lot of opportunities, and it just happens that I have the time now to put into it that I didn't before.
Mm-hmm.
And I can look at AI, and I've been playing with that. And it's got lots of weaknesses. I don't dispute it. It's a tool.
Yes.
But I can do more now without having to write code, programs, and things like that than I could before. I can do it much faster. I can get things done much faster. So a whole area of being able to get things done has opened up.
Mhm.
And serendipitously with the other project, I mean, I'm getting things done for that much easier in much less time.
Mhm.
So it's the opportunities are always there if you're looking for it, but you've got to be curious enough to be open to it and go and do something with it.
And there's so many situations that need solutions. I mean, just, again, we don't have to look very far to see that. So as you are curious and follow that curiosity, you are given, it's like you are given the superpower to come up with that solution. And I would, and I would bet, Hayward, too, that the experience of, or the feeling of joy is there with that.
Mhm. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than this one.
It's a good situation, a good flow that's going there.
It kind of works.
So think about that, again, what is it that you feel yourself being called to?
Is that a question to me?
Well, no, that's an open question. You just answered that.
Thank you. I thought I did.
Thank you.
So I find that question is almost a moment to moment question that you ask yourself,
Okay.
in any given moment, or you might have some big scale projects, but when you're creeping them down, or like, how does this work? Like, how will this best work right now? But to your point about the guidebook, the rule book, I mean, once you give up the idea of the rule book, and realize that it's all inside, then that is like a good part of the kind of figuring it out.
Yeah.
And being very open to that little knowledge that sometimes it's just like a little flicker. It's a tiny flicker, and you have to be quiet enough to hear it, or to see it, or to sense it.
Absolutely. And that's the paying attention to your own inner guidance system. Yeah. And Nancy, it sounds kind of like this is what you are being called to, is to pay attention in the moment and to follow it.
Yeah.
Because just paying attention isn't enough.
And just having the list is not enough.
Right.
Because, you can have the list of, I do have the list, but I can't force the list, because the list is external. So it is really requires that I've decided within my head, my heart, and my hands that this is the part of the list, or whatever it is that I want to engage in at the moment.
Yes. When I was teaching, and I haven't for a little while, taught the Inner Guidance Mastery Blueprint course, there's one section where I talk about the list, our to-do list for the day.
Yeah, exactly.
And if we go to that to-do list, and instead of saying, okay, well, that's number one, I got to tackle that. If we tune in, if we get quiet and say, what is it that needs to be done first?
Yeah.
And then it might be the fifth thing on your list, but sometimes doing that, 1 through 4 suddenly disappear, because that took care of that in a way that you couldn't have predicted.
Right.
And that's part of the potential pieces. We can't predict. Our little pea brains are only our little pea brains.
Right.
Or at least mine is.
Right. Yeah. No, it's totally true. Totally true. Yeah. And one thing usually leads to another,
It does.
And sometimes you can't figure it all out ahead of time. So you just have to start with something small. Like, you can't necessarily have the whole picture.
We might get the whole picture, but my experience has been that It's sort of like the energies want to keep me from getting overwhelmed.
Ah, oh, I like that. I
So
like
I might
that.
only get a little piece
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then another little piece.
Not
And
another little
sometimes
piece.
I'm given a big, big, big picture
Yeah.
and then I need to ask about timing.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
this the right time for that? Maybe
Yeah.
that's why I was talking with Catherine before we started here today about the fact that my book spent 10 years on my computer before it was time to
Mm.
start really bringing it out into a finished form.
Interesting.
hmm hmm Yeah. So, Cleo, can I ask about timing? Because I've kind of lost a sense of timing of where we are and how much time we have left, because I want to.
Of course, yes. So we have about like 20 more minutes-ish before we want to move towards wrapping up and towards our
Okay,
closing.
great. And is that 20 minutes including the wrapping up?
It would, I would say like maybe 15 for more conversation and then kind of move towards the wrapping
Okay,
up would be ideal.
great. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Nancy. And I wonder if there's anyone else that would like to share a little of what you're feeling yourself, opening up to something that you're stepping into or something you're feeling called to.
Lori, this is David. I think there's an additional part of this that I'm hearing, and I've certainly noticed in my life that there are things that are presented that I would not see if I were just running my list or I was just doing what I expected. We get into routines, into a box, and there are things that come in out of the blue. We were walking the Camino de Santiago a little while ago, and we met a very interesting person and walked with him the rest of the way.
Mm,
And these things just come in, but you have to be open to it. And yes, you look inside and say, is this a conversation I'd like to continue? Is this a relationship I'd like to develop?
mhm,
But we can, if we are just living within our expectations, then we cut ourselves off, I believe, from really seeing the opportunities, as you put it, that are presented, the synchronicities, as Catherine would say. Um, and, if I look at the important moments in my life, they've all been unexpected. They've
yes.
all been synchronicities.
Mhm.
And, fortunately, some number of them I actually grasped at. um, and they keep coming. We have
Mhm.
our 8 grandchildren are going to be here for 3 weeks. Um,
Wow. Wow.
that's not something we engineered. We're very open to it. We wanted it. Um, but we're it's going to be a lot of work.
Absolutely.
Um, but it's something that we we were accepting of, and now we're figuring out how we're actually going to accomplish it.
But you allowed yourself to receive it.
Yeah, it's receiving, it's seeing it to begin with, and then making, what do you call it, intuitive or energetic decision as to whether it's something you want to pursue or let go. Uh,
Does it have resonance is a word that I will ask myself. Does it feel resonant to do this?
yeah. So, not only are we going inside to find things, but we're also getting out of our own way
Mhm.
to see things that are being
Yes.
presented.
Yes.
so that we can say, yeah, I have all this stuff to do, but I'm going to put that aside because this new thing has come up,
Mhm.
and I'd like
Mhm.
to spend some of my attention, some of my energy on that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really wonderful point, David. It's an inside outside kind of dance, really. Because it's not just about going inside and seeing what comes up, but it's, paying attention to what is there. And you just made me reflect on a time where I was sitting in a program or in a talk, and somebody got up to talk about this program, and it was a kind of a year and a half long program. I was like, well, I don't need to do that. I got all that expertise. There's no reason for me to do that. And then I heard, you need to do it. You need to sign up for it. It's like, what? No. And went, really went, deeper into it. I was like, okay, sometimes there's also the surrender. And this was a surrendering into what had presented itself, which opened up so many things that I wouldn't have been able to know at that point in time. It was just to like do it or not do it, sign up or not sign up. But the all of the implications of it and the what unfolded from it, there's no way to know. But there is a yes that can happen. And I hear your yes with a big household full of people and a lot of little kids running around.
How old are the kids?
Oh,
Put them to work.
going on 4 through 12, and then there's an outlier who's 21.
Oh dear, that's not enough help.
The 21-year-old will help.
Well, that's just one person though.
Oh, he's smart. He's going to be away for 10 of those days.
I was going to say, he needs a break too, right?
Uh,
This is gonna mean work for me. See ya.
I only have 2 little ones, and that's an incredible amount of energy to deal with too, or to be. It's not deal with. It's just to be in the same space with.
yeah.
And so it'll be fun. Thank you, David.
One of the things that I think unites an awful lot of what we're talking about is what Haywood was saying about curiosity. If you're open, looking for opportunities, if you're curious, if you want to take the next step, that just makes life go in such a different direction. And it comes back to what you were saying about, you and Nancy were saying about the rule book. A rule book is like the opposite of curiosity.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, it certainly is.
And
I,
go ahead.
no, I just
No,
say,
go.
I very briefly, I had an experience when I was about 20. I was on a train from Paris to Madrid, and I was in one of these 3 gents across compartments that turned into beds overnight, because in those days trains didn't go as fast as they go now. And one of the other 2 gents was a young priest who was a little older than I was, but he's a very interesting guy. Pianist, wrote for one of the big newspapers on art and music and so forth, was a concert pianist. And we got to talking, and I really got interested in this fellow, and he became a lifelong friend, and probably a big reason for why we now live in Spain. Pretty soon we knew half of Spain. But that's one of these synchronicities that befall all of us, and you just have to see it, and as Haywood says, curious and then pursue it if it feels right.
Mhm.
There's
So
something.
David was mentioning about meeting people and that we met somebody on the Camino. Last night we got together with the Mallorcans who we walked the Camino with, and they were talking in these incredulous terms about how David and Catherine, whenever they go anywhere, they meet people and they talk to them, and then stuff happens. And there was sort of a combination of incredulity, admiring, and putting it down all at the same time.
Mhm.
And it felt like the tension between the rule book and Haywood's curiosity. They find it curious, they find it interesting, they can't imagine doing it themselves.
Really?
But hanging out with us, and they see that how often it happens, it's notable to them.
Interesting.
Mhm.
And it sounds like it's intriguing too. I mean, it captures their imagination.
Yeah.
And maybe they've just still not, they haven't quite taken the step of seeing that that's possible for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're building the bridge. I mean, both of you, it
You're
sounds like
their
you're building the
teachers.
bridge. Yeah, exactly.
Put
They're
in the chat.
teachers.
And you're building the bridge to say, oh, this is what happens when you get curious. This is what happens when you talk to people and you don't worry about what's going to happen.
Yeah,
And you don't have an expectation either about what's going to happen. David, you didn't talk to the priest and think, oh, he's going to become a lifelong friend. I hope he becomes a lifelong friend. You got interested.
Well, do you remember that rule we had in the rule book? You were never supposed to talk to strangers.
Yeah.
But
Broke that
Oh
one.
my goodness.
One of the things the rule book really does do in a way is it points you to the things that you should ask a question about. Because you can so often say, why is that rule that way? And it takes you to something completely different that somebody hadn't thought about before and opens up all sorts of doorways.
Yeah. And again, we are here in the infinite. We just think that we're limited. But we're really not. And that sense of, or the reality for me of being connected to source, we are source. We are that which is life. And returning to that recognition in daily life again and again and again, when we forget, and then we can remember, oh, wait a minute. And that for me is where the wellspring of love is, the wellspring of unconditional love, not from something out there, but the love within ourselves that continues to thrive, continues to flow. And then we give from our abundance, not necessarily from that which is the should or the have to, oh my God, I've got to do this. And really what I want to emphasize here, and I think this is true in general. I was thinking about this and I was writing about this before I came today. But Catherine, I feel like you are building a matrix that is carrying you forward. Not just you, but carrying this whole forward. And I want to suggest that and urge you really, if you are there in your everyday life, in your daily life, and you start feeling that sense of being disconnected, of forgetting the truth of who you are, that you are source, that you live in that field of potential, of full potential. Remember into this group. Remember into this little gathering, on a Sunday, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you're in. And that this can become a piece of your own spiritual team. The team that you call on to say, okay, team, let me remember. Let me remember. And if you're there in a moment and you're imagining sitting with the people in this group, that will help you connect with Source. So it's all here. It's all here. I have one more thing that I want to read to you as a closing, but I also, before we do that, if anybody has a question or a comment or something you that's kicking around that you haven't asked or haven't shared.
Hey, Lori, I definitely have a question.
Okay,
I'd
go ahead.
love to hear your interpretation, definition, meaning of source.
All that is. I mean, and from a sense of physics, it is that field, that source. It is, and it is us, because we hold all of that within ourselves, within these 70 trillion cells that are constantly turning over and being made new. So to me, I mean, we can use the word source or presence or God, but to me, it's that everything. It's that whole unlimited field.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything you want to add to that?
I didn't want to assume what you meant. I wanted to hear your words. So that was fairly predictable for me. So nothing to add other than ditto.
Okay.
Thank you.
Darn, I wish I weren't so predictable. Thank you, John.
Of course.
Just to build on what you just said a minute ago, Lori, a woman came back into my life this week who I hadn't talked to for more than 20 years. And she found me on LinkedIn, and she's going to become a facilitator in Living Whole. She's somebody that was originally in the Odyssey, my private practice back 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But what I wanted to mention is she lives in South Carolina, and what she wrote to me was, I found you online, I see what you're doing, I feel like I live in a spiritual desert, and I need a community to get connected to.
Wow.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. And you said yes.
Yeah, she can't make it today or the next one, but after that she can come to these meetings, and it was really it was very touching, very poignant to hear that term spiritual desert and see that what we're creating here is giving people a little drink of water in that sense.
And reminding them that no matter where they are, it exists, it's present. Yeah. And again, it's sort of the contrast, but I love what you're building here, and that someone just seeing something online can recognize what it is that you're building or have built, have created.
I'll only correct you by asking you to say we are building, because you're part of it.
Okay, thank you. And really, when I say you, I could say we, but it's kind of a collective you or a collective we. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah. Anything else? Okay. It's a poem I want to read to you. It's not mine. It's a poem called Remember. And it's by Joy Harjo, who used to be a U.S. Poet Laureate. Remember the sky that you were born under. Know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon. Know who she is. Remember the sun's birth at dawn. That is the strongest point of time. Remember sundown and the giving away tonight. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. Remember your father. He is your life also. Remember the earth whose skin you are. Red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life, who all have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them, listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind. Remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember you are all people, and all people are you. Remember you are this universe, and this universe is you. Remember all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember language comes from this. Remember the dance language is, that life is. So go dance, right? Just keep dancing with life. What else is there? Thank you. Thank you for being here today, for being with me, for being with each other. And
Thank you.
stay open to what unfolds.
Lori, will you share the name of the poet again?
Or I'll put it into the chat.
Thank you.
And we actually have another 15 minutes if we want to keep chatting.
I know. I realize we did very well with time, especially because I spoke to you all at the beginning about what's coming up here. But I also wanted to let you know in the chat I dropped a link to Wisdom Talk Radio, which is Lori's work, and also the book, which I mentioned at the beginning, but I will reshare so you all have that as well.
And if you're interested about other programs, there's also the Quantum Connection quiz about what archetype you are in terms of your own quantum connection style or archetype. The Baca Institute is my website, company, home for all kinds of things.
Lori, would you describe for us how you created Baca?
Sure. So it was a few years after my teacher had passed that I was doing some other work, but I was still doing all the work, this work that I had been, was really my life. And I had such a feeling of, okay, I need to, stop that at some point here, but I need to start bringing out into the world again. Because I had been out in the world, I had been teaching Turiya Touch all over the world and Turiya meditation, but then I had kind of gone quiet about that. And it was a few years after my teacher passed, and I think it was a lot of just being in the aftermath of that. And so I started, just bringing things together online. I started writing a lot more and putting out blog posts and creating programs. And then it was in 2014 when I left. I had been doing this solutions engineering work in the tech world, really different from my background and training as a psychotherapist, and then my work working with potential, and all of my studies of physics and metaphysics and all of the realms of things. And Baca is actually a place, the Baca, in southern Colorado, where a group of us would gather regularly with Dawn, our teacher, and explore life, receive new energies, but always to do that inner research, to what is unfolding, how are we living life, and how can we continue to live life more fully, but always doing the inner research of what is it that's happening, and seeing that. And we were people from all walks of life, from teachers, artists, business people, scientists, coaches, therapists, probably, on and on, that would come together for over 25 years. And so when I started this, I chose that name, not that that was the only place that we ever gathered, but that it was a way to honor that focus that we had held for that long.
Thank you. I'll just put in a plug for Wisdom Talk Radio. Lori's a really excellent interviewer, and she brings really interesting people onto her podcasts.
Two of whom we have right here in this room.
Yeah, John's podcast is really interesting.
Mm-hmm. And it, for me, spending that time with you, John, was like sort of like opening a door to a whole other. It wasn't so much a whole other world, but you have your, like everybody does, but you have your own unique way of seeing things. And it's wonderful to spend time with somebody, talking to them, asking questions. For me, it's always following the energy of what comes up in the moment to be able to ask about and to see what emerges. And I love having
Lori.
the show out there.
Your questions were outstanding. I mean, you make that show, so.
Thank you. Thank you. And Catherine, I had that same or a similar kind of experience with you of, you go into it thinking one thing, but then it's like, oh, wait a minute. There are levels and levels and levels here. And let's explore that.
Well, these days, people are always looking for interesting podcasts and interesting shows. So it's one that I highly recommend.
And you can find it, everywhere you listen to podcasts. It's also on YouTube. And so the early shows were not on YouTube because I've been doing this for over 10 years and we didn't do that. It took me a while before I got around to the video aspect of things. Okay.
Thank you all so much. I guess that pretty much wraps up what we were planning to speak about. So if anyone has any other questions, please feel free to jump in. Otherwise, I'm going to drop our email into the chat. So if questions come up, you can always email us here. And I believe everyone is on our mailing list, but if I'm wrong and you would like to be and you're not currently, please let us know because we only send one email a week, but I promise it's good. I write it and it's high quality. And yeah, you can unsubscribe at any time.
But we never would.
Exactly.
I just wanted to say one thing, that it's a real I don't know how to put this into words, but what we're talking about here is usually you never talk about this with anybody.
Yeah.
And that it's a real privilege, I guess, to be able to share your innermost processes for living your life, right? People are not curious to even ask, and so that I just think that's really cool that we're in a situation where we're able to do that. So I just wanted to thank you all for creating the opportunity to not go by the rule book and to, and it's the kind of thing that people don't really want to talk about it because it's, it's just too different, I guess, So I think that's really beautiful. Thank you.
And since we do have a couple of minutes left, I'm just going to ask if we could just go around and just say one word that you are left with now, that you are with now. One word that, not to try and sum up everything, but just one word of this moment. And for me, that would be, that would be love. There's a feeling, that would be love. I'll just leave it without explanation. Cleo, I'm just going to go around and.
I would say grounded. That's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
Catherine?
would say connected.
Connection.
That was mine.
Wonderful. Somebody else said that was their word?
Yeah, connected, that
Yes.
same sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you.
Thank you, Deitch.
So far, it's a total ditto for me.
Ditto is a good word.
Thank you.
Stacy, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Is there a word you have, Stacy? Oh, you're muted, Stacy.
My word is grace.
Mm.
Mm.
You're the bridge into the next series.
Oh, is that so?
It is. That's perfect.
The next 3 are on grace.
So, Catherine, the last time I saw you was at Mass General Hospital. I used to go and listen with a woman named Dot Lucci, who brought me into your amazing way of sharing integrative and allopathic. Because I've always been a believer of all of that. And it was so nice. Like this talk right now, it resonates so beautifully and organically for me. And so thank you. So grace.
Beautiful word. Thank you, Stacy.
Stacy, are you on our mailing list?
No, I don't even know. No, I'm not.
If you would like to be, feel free to let me know your email or you can type it in the chat. But
Okay, it's my name at Gmail.
Okay, great. Just full name.
Yes.
Okay, I will add you right now.
Thank you.
Because that'll help you know when the next of these, we do one of these every month. And the next 3 are on grace.
Wow. Okay.
So
I think you have to be there, Stacy.
Crazy.
And it's wonderful to see you again. It's been a
Thank you.
while.
A very long while. Yeah. When was that? When did you leave?
We in 2011.
Whoa. Okay. We both look great, don't we?
We do.
You do. Extraordinary.
Catherine, what's your word?
Light.
Light. David?
I think today, I agree with everything that's been said, but openness.
Mm.
Mm. Great. Thank you. John, did you give?
Well, it was connected, but since
it was.
for 3 others did, I'm going to add collective. Collective.
Ooh. Okay. Good ad.
It could also have togetherness. Just going back to the initial theme, right?
We love a theme.
And isn't it all connected?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just wanted to have that moment. Thank you,
Thank
Cleo,
you.
for allowing that.
Yes, that's lovely. Togetherness, yeah, it's a very full circle ending there. So thank you for that. And thank you so much, Lori, for joining us today. And
It was wonderful.
being with us.
Wonderful to
Stay
be
well,
with all
everyone.
of you. We'll see you on July 26th.
Yes,
Okay.
That is our next
I'll put it
Sunday
in.
TLC. It'll be July 26th at the same time in your local time zone.
Thank you.
And when everyone feels ready, you know, if you'd like to sign off, feel free. Otherwise, I can move you to the waiting room if you want to decompress at all. But otherwise, yes, please join us next time for a gathering on Grace, July 26th.
Great, perfect.
Great
Look
one.
Thank
forward
you,
to it.
Cleo. Thank you.
You all.
Yeah, bye. Bye bye.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. Okay, now I'm going to deal with the recording. 1 second. Okay, and the YouTube. Let's see. Okay, perfect.